Father Esposito here. This is Catholic Monochrome. In this episode, I will give you a quick explanation of the Catholic definition of sanctifying grace. Sanctifying grace can be defined as a supernatural quality inhering in the soul which gives us a physical and formal participation, although analogous and accidental, in the very nature of God, precisely as God. First, sanctifying grace is a quality. A quality in scholastic terminology is an accident which modifies a substance. There are several types of qualities. Sanctifying grace is a habit, that is, a quality which is permanent and difficult to remove, that disposes the substance in regard to itself. Grace is an entitative habit. Habitus entitativus, that is a quality that modifies the soul regarding its very being by elevating it and establishing it in the supernatural order. The supernatural virtues and gifts of the Holy Ghost, by the way, are operative habits, habitus operativi, qualities that modify the soul regarding its operation. As supernatural, grace far excels all natural things, transcending all nature and making us enter into the sphere of the divine and uncreated. The minimum degree of sanctifying grace in one individual is greater than the natural good of the entire universe. Grace inheres in the soul. Protestants do not accept the Catholic notion of grace. For them, justification is something extrinsic. You remain a sinner even after justification. An accurate image illustrating the Protestant notion of justification is the one attributed to Martin Luther himself. Justification is like the sprinkling of snow on a pile of dung. Very spiritual, Martin. But Catholics believe in interior, real justification, real holiness. God truly transforms our souls, and this transformation happens through sanctifying grace. Grace is a participation in the nature of God. Participation is the assimilation and inadequate expression in an inferior thing of some perfection existing in a superior thing. We need to make a few distinctions here. Participation may be moral or may be physical. A person, for example, participates morally in the good or bad reputation of the company he works for. But the moon participates physically in the light of the sun. Physical participation can be virtual or formal. A fruit, for example, is virtually contained in a tree because the tree is able to produce the fruit. Both men and animals formally participate in the genus of animality. Formal participation, in turn, can be univocal or analogous. For example, all men participate in a formal and univocal manner in the species of humanity. Obviously, human beings cannot participate in this manner in the divine nature, so participation in the divinity must be analogous. In summary, sanctifying grace gives man a physical, formal, analogous, and accidental participation in the divine nature. In the book of Genesis, God says, "Let us make man to our image and likeness." Intellectual creatures are the natural image of God. But man was created not only to be the natural image of God, but also his likeness. And this is attained by means of sanctifying grace. That's all for now. Memento finis, memento mori.